Hello everyone, I'm day weather meteorologist Don Day with your Public Lands Council weekly weather update for this December 18th, 2021. It's being brought to you by WSR Insurance Services Incorporated and Ag Risk Advisors. As we take a look at the week ahead, as we run up to Christmas time, this is what we're watching for you. First of all, the mountain snowpack over the last week has gotten a really good boost in the west. There's another big boost coming. In fact, we're really encouraged that the snowpack is going to play catch up after a very poor start. We are going to be looking at mountain snowpack getting a real boost in the next couple of weeks. That does mean rain and snow as well for some of the western areas, especially along and west of the divide. More west coast rain coming. More rain for the coastal areas of Washington, Oregon, and California, even some moisture east of the Cascades and into the Great Basin, even into parts of the desert southwest. Very, very cold air is close by. It's going to be holding off, though. I don't see a deep penetration of Arctic air into the west for a little bit longer, but I think our luck will run out. Right after Christmas, towards the new year, or just after, the colder air will sink further south out of Canada and a little bit deeper into the lower 48 states. So livestock interests are going to want to be preparing for the fact that it is going to start to act colder, be colder, more persistently colder as we get into the new year. Now I want to show you the change in the snowpack. This is the latest snowpack, and you can see a lot of yellow and oranges there, which are still below average. And reds are far below average, and the blues and the greens are where you're getting snowpacks that are 90, 100% or more of average. Now, this is the latest update. Now, it's a lot of areas are below average. Now, we do have some areas here that have gotten into blue, but look at where we were just a week ago. Look at all the red. In just a week, we've gone from this to this. So this is good news. It's an improving trend, and I see this trend increasing. In fact, in the next update, we'll show you there will be several areas right here that are in the 90s now that'll probably be in the 100% or plus 100% of average in the coming week or two. So this is a really nice change of pace. Glad to see the moisture returning to some western areas. And if we were to focus in, look at the Sierra Nevada. They picked up some big snows over the past week and some good rains along the west coast. So we're seeing some better conditions there. Now, if we were to look at the last 7 days for the past week, you can see why. Look at all the bright colors here along and west of the divide. We still are struggling on the plains of Colorado into New Mexico, Texas, Kansas, Oklahoma here. This is a dry area that I'm afraid is going to be very persistent for a little bit longer. But we did see some good moisture here out into the plains with that snowstorm that came in late last week. And we're seeing a little bit of bleed over some of that moisture into Montana now. And this area is going to get more moisture over the next 7 to 10 days. But as we'll show you, it'll be along this line in west, basically the Continental Divide in west to the west coast, that'll be the most wet. Relative to average, you can see over the last week, the precipitation anomaly, anywhere you see green or blue, it's been above average amounts of precipitation for the week. And this is a map that will look very similar that we'll show you next week. The latest Drought Monitor still shows lots of red, orange, and yellows, but we've had some improvements. In North Dakota, parts of South Dakota, and Wyoming, we've seen some improvements. And along the west, this map will show a lot more improvement when it's updated here, but we've seen some improvement. So conditions slightly more encouraging. Now let's take a look at what's going to happen. This is the map as of today, the 18th of Saturday. You can see the Arctic air is still locked up. We continue to have a very active jet stream. This black line I'm showing you basically is representing where the jet stream is going right now across North America. We continue to have low pressure systems come in out of the Gulf of Alaska into British Columbia and Alberta, keeping those areas stormy. But the storms have not been able to penetrate very far south yet. They've been riding along the U.S.-Canadian border. So that's going to keep temperatures relatively mild in the west, at least for the beginning of the forecast period. By the time we get to Christmas Day, this is where we are now. By Christmas Day, notice an expansion of the blue more south. The colder air is making its way out of Canada, getting into the northern Rockies, the northern parts of the Pacific Northwest, and a very strong jet stream coming out of the Gulf of Alaska. This is going to drive Pacific moisture into the entire western United States. And so we're going to see some really good precipitation moving into Washington, Oregon, California, into the Great Basin, into the northern Rockies, along with colder temperatures. So right around Christmas Eve, or let's say after Christmas Eve into Christmas Day, into the new year, folks, it's going to look very wintry. In the western United States, winter will become much more apparent. That means colder nights, colder days, colder wind chills, more opportunities for snow and colder wind chills. When you look at the precipitation forecast between today and Christmas Day, you can see along and west of the divide, very, very wet. These are some great precipitation totals for December. So the west coast will get more wet, the mountains will get more snow. Now there is some encouraging news for Montana and parts of North and South Dakota to get a little moisture. Not a lot, but some. We'll take whatever we can get. The area of concern remains along the Front Range of Colorado, New Mexico, and southeastern Wyoming into this area here. I'm afraid for those of you in this area, it is still going to be a struggle to get wet. But the flip side of this pattern is that the mountain snowpack will get more snow, and the interior west and even parts of the Great Basin are going to get wet as we go on into Christmas week and into the new year. And you can see the snowfall forecast. Lots more snow coming to the Sierra Nevada, as well as the northern and central Rockies, the Bitterroot, into the Pacific Northwest. So we're going to be looking at a pattern that's going to favor the western mountains and some of the western valleys getting into some winter weather. It'll be areas east of the Continental Divide that are going to struggle. But there is going to be some cold and wintry weather up here for Montana, North Dakota, and southern areas of Canada. So keep that in mind. Temperature-wise, if we were to average all the temperatures up over the next week, you can see the coldest temperatures are right along the U.S.-Canadian border. But as we go into the new year, this blue and green area will expand and will cover more of the central and northern Rockies, going all the way down to areas like here. So the writing is on the wall. Colder winter weather is coming, more persistent winter weather is coming between Christmas and New Year's. Have yourself a great week ahead. Yes, we will update you with a video on Christmas morning to keep you up to date because we think that there's going to be a lot to talk about as we go into the new year. Have a great week ahead, everyone.